What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Saturday, October 5th, 2024. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here. I'm also working in sales and also a proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I like to bring people on to talk about their why, of why they are doing their profession and who they are outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's coming on with me today. Her name is Edly Termilien. She is over at Texas Athletics, and she is the game day communication assistant for the San Antonio Spurs. So we're going to get to talk to her about her why of joining sports, getting into sports, and also get to know her a little bit outside. So without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful, the beautiful Edly Termilien. Hello there. How we doing?
Doing fine. How are you?
We're doing good. Finally. And listen, my apologies for not getting with you on the previous days, but we finally linked up and I'm so happy to link up with you. I really am. I want to say thank you for coming on to my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, and ask you, how's your week been going?
It's been going good so far. Texas had a bye week, so I've just been doing San Antonio Spurs stuff. So got me in and out of Austin and San Antonio. So
I love that. Now, how close is those two cities? I haven't been to San Antonio yet, but I have been to Austin.
um it's an hour and probably a couple minutes away. I would say it's depending what time. Like this week was kind of an easy drive, I would say. But I mean, there's always constructions on the roads and everything. So that your 1 hour and 14 minutes can be like can go 1 hour and 35 or 45.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the construction is and the time to get out. San Antonio closes one lane to get out of San
Wow.
Antonio by
Okay.
time because they're building like the bridges. So that's in the works. So once they
Okay.
close that, it's kind of like everyone's getting one lane and that can take like 14 minutes.
Got you on that. Got you on that. Let me now. Is it Edley? Edley? That's how you say it.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to reiterate to you before I start peppering you with all these questions on why I wanted to have you on my podcast. Now, I'm a sports reporter based out of here in Minnesota. I do freelance, so I've covered high school, college, and I've also covered a couple of professional events as well. But I love doing reporting. Before then, I was with a publication for a combination of 6 years, doing Atlanta, Georgia, and here in Minnesota, of covering all different kind of sports. I love talking to people in sports because I also know you do Texas athletics and you also are with the San Antonio Spurs. So I want to hear your why of why you wanted to do that or why you wanted to get into that and also learn about your journey. So to me, it was a no-brainer to reach out to you and talk to you. And as I always do with every guest that I have on here, um, the first question is the same. What is your why of getting into athletics and sports? Did you have any role models growing up? Did you have anybody that you wanted to emulate and be like getting into this industry? But what is your why of getting into communication, sport communication, what I should say?
I would say, well, I've always wanted to be a journalist. I think that's where it took me. So I think middle school wanted to be a breaking news reporter. My
Okay.
parents are from Haiti. That's when I kind of tapped into the news cycle. I mean, seeing the earthquake every single day and what's going on. So kind of
Sure.
want to be like the Anderson Coopers in the world, all of them.
Mhm.
And then I've always played sports. I did gymnastics when I was little. Middle school I did tennis. High school I did tennis and cheer. So I was always in the sports world, but I knew I was not gonna go D1 in any of the
Right.
sports.
Right.
Kind of had to find another outlet. And it was my teacher, Miss Waits, who was a journalism teacher, and she also was the head of the yearbook, kind of like the sponsor or the leader of the yearbook.
Sure.
It's like, you can come and join the yearbook. You're a sophomore now. I think it's a great time for you to tap into that. And I was like, okay. And so no one in the yearbook staff was into sports. No one really cared about it. People wanted to do the arts and crafts. People wanted to do the graphic designs on the pages. So nobody
Hmm.
really cared about the game. Like football is a big thing in Texas.
Absolutely.
No one was like, I want to go for the vibes. I don't want to work the game, which is understandable. So I kind of like picked up the camera, start shooting. And
Okay.
even as a cheerleader, I would cheer probably first and second quarter. And then I mean, no one was getting the band and the Kangarettes, which is our drill team. So
Mhm.
I was doing halftime. I was shooting the time the girls were eating snacks in the behind the bleachers. And so that's where I kind of like tapped into sports and I'm like, I kind of want to go the sports journalism route. And I did
Okay.
that through college. I did the newspaper, student newspaper, did student broadcasting, but it was through student broadcasting where that's when I saw the sports information directors. And that's how I'm like, oh, there's another outlet. The people who give us the information, the people who give us the access to the athletes. And so Scott McCall, he is at Texas. He does the men basketball information. And he was like, I literally asked him, I'm like, do you guys have interns? This sounds like an interesting, just being curious.
Right. Right.
Everyone around me, especially what I love about the Austin media, there are so many people or so many men that look like you,
Mm.
which throughout my life, I was the only Black person or Black woman in the room.
Sure.
So Cedric Goldman, who is a writer at the Austin American Statesman, he was like, I mean, try everything. You never know if you like communications or you don't.
That's right.
So my mindset coming into college was just try everything. Try the producing route. Try, the multimedia journalism route. Try everything and see what you like because you don't want to ever go out of college without regrets. I think leaving college without regrets is worse than leaving high school without regrets. That's
Absolutely. Without question.
and so last year, my senior year, I started at Texas as communication intern and I fell in love with it. I was like,
Okay.
wow, this is probably the place I can be. Just, I wrote a feature story on Aaliyah Moore through
Okay.
Texas. I mean, she was coming out of an ACL injury, but during that time, during her ACL injury, she was looking for a place where not only she's an athlete, she's a Black woman.
Right.
So like learning her story, talking to her, I was like, this is what I want to do. Kind of giving the reporters the information, like, hey, we have this athlete here. She went to the Black Student Athlete Association in LA. She cares about the people. She's more than a basketball player. And that was the title of my headline. She's more than a basketball player.
Yep.
And so that future story kind of like wired my gears like, I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to take the future stories I've been doing as a reporter and put it into athletics. And I
Okay.
just think my why is the storytelling, not only for athletes, but athletes that look like me. And we have a lot of them at Texas. And from the controversies over the 2020 riots and the Black Lives Matter, we
Hmm.
have a lot of, history and there's a lot of stuff that goes on with schools in the South and
Yep.
just highlighting students and athletes that look like me, that I think that's where my why. Because even in the communication department this year now, we have another Black girl, which is like finally kind of a breather. There's somebody in the room that gets it. Not only I love my Black reporters who are here, but you guys are men. Where are the women?
Right.
And so I think also sometimes I do my why also is like opening the door. I'm always posting job applications. I want to see more girls who look like me. Or even not even look like me. I want to see more Hispanics. I want to see the more Asians. So kind of like my why is,
Ethnic. Ethnic people.
yeah, being the one to open the door, being like, hey, you want to join, athletics, you want to see what it's about? Hey, I can take you in. or you want to do tickets and I'm really not into the tickets, I can ask who does the tickets and give you that information. So my why is to opening the door for people because I had to fight tooth and nail to see what's going on.
Sure, sure.
My
No,
why is for the future girls, hey, getting into athletics or getting into the sports industry doesn't have to be tooth and nails. So I think that's my why, just being the one that opens the door for people.
I love it. I do. And listen, I've covered a lot of sporting events out here in my time. Remember going to a state basketball championship game or tournament. Let's just say tournament before the championship game. And there was nobody else that looked like me there. Everybody else was Caucasian. There was nobody that was black men, black women. There was no ethnicity around. And you're starting to see now more so than ever that people are starting to be more inclusive as far as trying to get more ethnic people on TV, trying to get more ethnic people in publications and writers because women are is not just about including the women. They're very talented. These are very talented women that love and are passionate, just like men, like myself. Which is a reason why I wanted to create this platform, is because I want to talk to all people of sports of all colors. Because I want to learn your story and hear your story and be touched by your story, but also get people to start watching these to be able to be like, okay, if she can do it or he can do it, then I can do it. And I love that get back. You're pretty much paying it forward. That's what you're saying. And I love that you're doing that. You talk about Texas, University of Texas of Austin, I believe you went to college wise. Talk to me, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to Texas?
Ooh. Well, my mom was big on Texas ever since she got to this country. She got in this country around like 2000, and that's where the hype years were. I mean, you had the Texas, you had the Miami, USC,
Yep.
but she kind of fell into Texas because my dad was stationed in Fort Hood, and they're like basically like, you gotta know about Colleen and Fort Hood at the time. Now it's Fort Cavazos,
Mhm.
but they're very much a Texas Longhorn fan base.
Yep.
They'll Dallas Cowboys, Texas Longhorns, and then the high school merge. You don't really see the A&M and the Baylor. So kind of like
No.
Texas threw into my parents' face. And so I've always heard about Texas. I think I went to at least three tours,
Okay.
one by like my school trip, two by my family. But I would say due to my family also being in Florida, because Haiti is close to Florida, and then the
Yep.
Haitian there. University of Florida kind of caught my eye. I mean, you had Aaron Andrews that went there for
Yep.
journalism,
Hmm.
and so that was probably the one that was turning my head a little bit from Texas. I would say. Um, Another one would be TCU. They have Dallas is a good, just all in all, sports or even breaking news, politics, whatever
Without question. Yes.
you want to go to with the media. Just any Dallas schools. UNT was another. North Texas was. It's not. They're D1.
The Mean Green, North Texas. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, that was another school where that was turning my head. Also from Texas because also they had like I think the 5% emissions. And then they had just again the Dallas area. Doesn't matter what you want to go into the media. I think it's a really big top market up there. And so that kind of turned my head too. And if I said outside of Texas, Florida, I would say. And then
Okay.
would say Georgia,
Okay.
Athens, and also
Now you're
Atlanta.
talking my backyard. That's where I graduated college from.
And then
You go.
Atlanta, everybody, my cousin is in Atlanta right now. Everyone's kind of like Atlanta's kind of like the hot spot for Black media, sports media, everything like that. So
Without question.
so Texas was my path. My dad was like, all right, just apply for Texas and that's it. Call it a day. My mom was like, okay, choose your options. There's Florida. You got family in Florida. You got family in Atlanta and in Georgia.
Hmm.
kind of like my mom's kind of like spaced it out, but my dad was like full on Texas. I mean, Texas is a big thing. Getting a degree at Texas is
Absolutely.
huge. My dad even almost went to Texas. So I mean, walking that stage in May was a big thing for him. I mean, seeing someone in his bloodline, somebody with his last name, walking that stage, something he couldn't do because he didn't have time during the military, is was a big thing for him. So really, Texas was always number one, but I did have some head turners just to the location and how was their journalism school.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Now, Edly, I'm gonna ask you some favorite questions. You give me the 411 based
Okay.
upon these favorite questions that we got. Are you with me?
All right.
All right, here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Ooh, salmon and rice.
Okay, we're gonna be good friends, Edley. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because ain't nothing like some salmon and some rice. I love that. No, brown rice, right, or white rice?
I mix it up depending how I feel, but
Okay,
I do
say
prefer
less.
the brown rice.
Say less. Okay, here we go. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
I would say the Jack Hart. No, Harry Styles
Wow, Harry Styles. Okay, now hold on. Was this with One Direction or by himself?
by himself.
Okay, got you. Say less. I like that. I like that. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
San Diego.
Stop it. For real?
Yeah, I haven't been to a lot. I'm hoping that Texas we go to the SEC championship. I'm trying to see what Atlanta's about. Never
Oh,
been
it's about a lot of things. Let me tell you that right now. It's about a lot of things. A lot of things you'll like. No
that's
question.
on the bucket list right there.
No doubt. And the reason why I said stop is because that's where I grew up. I grew up in San Diego.
Oh, really?
Yes. So my dad was stationed in the Navy way back when. And I grew up going to elementary, middle, and high school, graduated high school out there as well. So I'm very fond of San Diego, for sure.
Yeah.
Jack in the Box is still one of my favorite restaurants. So yes, that's for real. Okay, here we go. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person? Can be the same sport.
Gymnastics.
Wow. Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay. Last but not least, favorite restaurant you like to eat at? Let me know because I definitely got to come down there.
Ooh, I would say P. Terry's is a hot spot. I prefer it other than McDonald's or In-N-Out. P. Terry's is a good burger place, I would say.
Okay, Pete Terry's. Okay, well. Listen, when I get down there, I'm gonna have to hit you up and let me know where Pete Terry's is at for sure.
There's a bunch of them in Austin.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Now, this next one, I'll be remiss before I get into this next question. I know you talked about your family being in Florida. Are they safe? Are they okay?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to ask out and make sure. Obviously, we just had Hurricane Helene devastate a lot in Florida. No question about that. So just wanted to throw that out there and see if your family was good. I'm glad to hear they are. Um, this next question has to do with your day to day. You talked about a little bit being an SID, which is Student Information Director for Texas Athletics. I don't know how many sports you're over, but I would love to know about a day to day process of what you do to prepare yourself to get ready for that job. And also talk about your day to day with the game day communication of San Antonio Spurs. You got at least 41 games this year, at least, that you're going to be doing that for, possibly. So, talk to me about your day to day with both different jobs.
Well, the good thing with Texas, I'm still in the assistant role, so it's
Mm.
part-time. I'm kind of like the SID's right-hand man. We just got a new SID. Her name is Grace, great woman. Um, kind of like her right-hand man. Kind of like everyone's kind of like helping her, showing her the ropes, but I mean, if she needs anything, I'm kind of like helping her out. If she, we keep up with the guys who came to Texas, but now in the NFL. I keep up with those guys. I mean, we have a website for that. And then for game notes, keep up with the players and their stats. So I kind of do all the little things that, she could forget about. And so
Okay.
that helped me kind of know the game also. I would say when it comes to Texas, my Mondays are just Coach Sarkeesian's presser. Got to be there around like probably like 10. He talks around 11:30. And then you have our players who come in and out depending if they got class that day, depending um if they're available. So that's probably from 12 to 3. We kind of end it at 3 because obviously we gotta let our media people go, and they got their 5 o'clock shows. They gotta, hustle and bustle.
Sure.
And I would say throughout the week, I mean, both organizations, Spurs and San Antonio, they have worked with me. Um, with San Antonio, it's just game days. So anytime I'm available, anytime, if there's a game and I'm open, I go down there.
Okay.
So I would say we have OU, which this year we don't, with the Red River rivalry, OU is hosting. So OU is gonna bring their assistants, their SID is gonna put up everything for the press box, and so
Okay.
we don't go. So interns and me as an assistant, we don't go. So you can go as by yourself or you can go like as a student, it's whatever. So there is a preseason game on that same Saturday. So that's when I take my time on. I mean, like I'm not going to Dallas, I'm not going to OU weekend. I'm in San Antonio. So
Got
all
you.
kind of like the games where, which is San Antonio and Texas football, their schedule kind of, there's no mesh, there's no like, there's a game,
Overlap.
there's no overlap. So there's no game with the Georgia game. So I don't got to worry about anything in San Antonio when Georgia comes here. And I don't have to worry about anything with Kentucky when we play Kentucky because there's no game on that day. So
Mm-hmm.
there's where there's spots where, oh, there's no game and there's a game for Spurs. Perfect. Oh, there's a game for men's basketball at UT. I can do that when there's nothing for Spur. So it's kind of like, especially if in October, there's only preseason and there's probably only 2 in game in San
Right.
Antonio.
Right.
I can worry about the other sports where I take care of fall tennis if that SID needs any help with that. Just very hands-on with that. And then if basketball needs me, Scott is already giving me a season pass and he said just let me know which games you can come to and let me know which games you can't. That's perfectly fine. I know I'm gonna work with your schedule at San Antonio. So
Sure.
I think what I love about both organizations, they both work with me and they're both like they love the fact that I'm doing 2 at the same time. They're like, okay, she likes to hustle. She wants to do, I mean, there's the collegiate level and then the professional level. She wants to dip her
Yep.
toe where she
Yep.
wants, I mean, they love the fact that, I mean, I think their only concern is maybe, the late nights to coming back to Austin, but I got a bunch of friends, so I'm going to crash at their place anyways. So it's kind of like filling in. And then at Texas, Fridays before the game, the day before the game, we set up the press box. So I'll come in at probably at 9:30, work on the labels, work on the seating chart, and then kind of get up there. Well, Grace and the other SIDs, they go to production. Um, and making sure coach is good to go, making sure the guys are good to go, because they do go to a hotel and they stay there the day before. So making
Okay.
sure
Okay.
everyone's good to go. If there's any more production for it, depending the game, if there's any more reporters who want last minute talks, and that's national media. If they want last minute things from coach, I mean, that's probably the last day to get it. So we set up the press box. Kind of like my role is kind of like bossing around the interns, but not really. But like,
I
hey,
know
can
what you're talking about.
you do this? You set up the waters for tomorrow or set up the sodas, and I'm working on other stuff, making sure that everything is good to go for the next day for we're
Right.
not too completely crazy because there's a lot of places that get blocked in our stadium where it's like it's gonna be hard to get back to the office anyways because there's so many securities. The press box is between two
Yeah, them college football games is crazy. No question about it.
and then our press box is between 2 suites, and so we do have people who are going to the suites in the same elevator as us. So that's what takes a long time to get up to the press box sometimes, because you do have people who are on the same floor, but they're enjoying the game also.
Sure.
So making sure that we don't have any missed spots, we don't have any, making sure all the names are spelled right. I probably double check at least 5 times
That's
before
okay.
I'm ready to print it out. Really picky. And sometimes I do still miss something. Maybe Mississippi State, the comm one, maybe they have an extra comm person coming. I know with UTSA, they brought a lot of people. They had a lot of guests. So kind of like very nitpicky, making
Okay.
sure, all right, they're bringing in 10 guests. Okay, making sure all the 10 guests has their seating. So stuff like that. Just very attention to detail. And then Saturday is the game. And then Sunday I do all of the players stats, all of the records for the next week. Whoever we're playing have, you know, that information and they're
Okay.
ready. So it's
I
kind of
like
like
that.
I would say my Mondays, my Thursdays is kind of like labeling day, but it's also now we're getting into basketball. Maybe basketball may need help, or there might be player availability and one of them needs me to come and, assist and like listen to what the reporters are asking these players. Cause sometimes, you know, for their sound bites, the players are cautious with what they say, but also, there could be that question that might trip them up and kind of like, making sure they're good. So maybe they need an extra ear to come in and kind of listen to these players. So that's where I come in. So I'm kind of like filling in the days and what's going on. And then
Mhm.
if there's something, if they need me on this day, but I have Spurs and kind of like between, you know, who needs me this bad? Like how badly does which org needs me? If it's something
Right.
like serious at Texas, like I gotta go help out, then I mean at Spurs, there's 7 of us. And a lot of them live in San Antonio. So it's kind of like hopefully somebody like gets, help out.
Right.
But I think out of the 7, there's 2 commuters. There's one that goes to Texas State and San Marcos. Well, she's in the middle of
Okay.
San Antonio. She's in the middle, and I'm kind of like a little bit more. I would say I'm like 30 minutes more farther than her.
Okay.
We do have 2 commuters, so kind of like hoping the San Antonio guys help out also.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's all about the balance and you know which one is more serious than the other. If it's like something where with Texas, oh, a student intern can like help out, because I think this year with Texas, it used to be smaller last year, but this year with the SEC, and the thing about the SEC, they care a lot about communication assistants. There's so many opportunities for the communication assistants. Um, they used to
And
there,
then I love that. I love that.
and I didn't get that with the Big 12. I mean, the closest you'll get to an away game is probably Texas OU, whoever hosted. But the
Oh,
SEC, the SEC Media Day, I mean, Jill, who's one of the heads for the communication, she's like every event, every championship. I mean, she told me I think around late October, that's when I'm gonna start emailing each school, and each school has to bring an assistant. Doesn't
yep.
matter who's playing, we want you to send an assistant to
Yep.
experience to meet the commissioner. I met the commissioner, Greg Swanke, great man. He gave me cards. He gave each assistant cards, and it's just talk about faith, the 7 books to success, um, just a lot of um quotes where you can really
I
I think
like it.
that stick with me the most. If it's not making you happy, leave it. And that can be for anything, can be relationships, can be friendships, can be jobs. If it's not making you happy, and
Don't do it.
it doesn't matter how much money
Don't do
it
it.
costs, don't do it. And so
Absolutely.
coming out of Dallas and coming out of like, wow, I'm so happy Texas and OU made this move, because not only me, the future kids who want to be in communications can experience, you know, I mean, they pick people to come for tournaments for men
Yep.
and basketball. So there's so many opportunities. It's like, wow, like very hands-on. And then the kids who were with me from the other SEC schools, they already, I kind of had imposter syndrome too, because it's like, whoa, you're already at this tennis tournament. You did men's basketball in Nashville. Like you're already up there, and I'm like still trying to pick up the pieces. Like I'm still trying to figure out this industry out. I did the flip. I like no more report like sports reporting. I want to be in the department. So seeing the flip, I was like, oh, like, but a lot of the guys who've been in the game for years, they're like, hey, I came out of LSU with 1 year experience in this. Yeah, you're going to be fine. It's kind of like,
Absolutely. No doubt. No doubt. I I wanted to ask this question because um mental health and work life balance is very important in our industry. You hit a lot of burnout, overworked, underpaid, different things of that nature. I want to know, has there ever been a time that you felt these emotions that, your mental health was affected? And what did you do to try to get your mental health back or keep it as strong, as well as your work life balance?
yeah, I think for the past 2 months now, I've been trying to like, you know, I think I got burnt out in September where we had a bunch of back-to-back games, like every
Mhm.
single Saturday. I think the only game that Texas really went away for is the Michigan game. And ever since the Michigan game, it's been home game, home
Yep.
game, home
Yep.
game. And then bye. This is like the first week there's nothing, and then they go to Dallas next week. And so it's just I think I got burnt out. And then I was also doing paperwork for the Spurs. I think it's like, well, kind of feel like I'm doing too much. Kind of,
Right.
you know, like someone just pulled a rug off your feet and you just fell. Like that's how I kind of felt like.
Okay.
Kind of expressed it. I think I expressed it a little bit on social media, and that's when my SID Grace, she reached out. I mean,
Yes.
came from Arkansas, so she came from an SEC school to another SEC school, and she's like, my last, few months at Arkansas, I felt the same way. I felt the burnout, and Grace, let me know like you're not the only one. This is very common. She's like, I wish it was not common in this industry, but it's very common where
Grace is right. I wish it wasn't either.
you can get burnout. And she was doing softball, and I mean softball. I feel like softball in the spring, that's another beast because you're. I think she was also a traveling assistant too. She was traveling.
Wow.
She was,
She had many different things on her plate.
yeah. And so she would like let me know like, hey, employees they have like there's so many mental health resources here, and she
Right.
like, the hotline. She sent me um the appointment schedule of these sources, and I last week I went to talk to somebody, and I cried, and she was like, I literally said crying, I feel like crying is embarrassing. And she was like, I know that's a human emotion. That's what you needed. This is what you needed. You needed to cry. You needed to get some, you know, things off your plate.
Absolutely.
And I think it's also where we're at as a world too. The economy's not in the best shape. The job market. I mean, this industry is hard to break into. I mean, you can be doing stuff since high school and you still don't have a full-time job out of
Right.
college.
Right.
I mean, you have people who's been, you have these old heads who's just, they're hitting 90 and they're still working. And it's like, you
Still
know,
doing what they do.
still doing what they do. And then it's like you have reporters who have told you like it's not gonna get better. Like the pay's not gonna get better. Nothing's gonna get better. it's kind of like, ooh, but now like learning that's every industry. Like my engineering friends, they're going through it. Like everyone's going like it's not
Right.
even every major industries has been hit. And so figuring that out, my brother was going also, he's autistic, he's been going through seizures. Um,
Wow.
balancing that. And my mom moved down to Austin with me since my sophomore year. Freshman year, we had the COVID year. We stayed home in Killeen. But she came down here and not only to, just like she wants to be around me, obviously,
Sure.
but like also I'm also another caregiver for my brother. So
Okay. Okay.
juggling that, it's kind of like being a mom and going to school at the same time, because I do put my brother to the bus and then I go to school. Or, I'm really thankful I had this professor named Claire. She was like, hey, I'm not gonna be mad if class starts at 9, but I'm not gonna be mad at you if you come here at 9:20, because I know you have to drop off your brother, or I know the bus could be late and you gotta go park in the garage or find parking. Like, I
Right.
it's really, when it comes to mental health, you have to have good people around you, and I feel like you have to speak up. You have to be like, hey, I can't look at this, page right now, and take a breather. Or
It's
you
tough
feel
to
like
do. It's
it's
tough to do, but you got to do it.
yeah. And I think what was expressed when it comes to Black women in this industry, you have to do 10 times, no matter what industry, you have to be 10 times as great than the others just to be at the door. Not even sometimes not even to have a foot in the door, just be at the door. And so I think that's always been crammed into our heads for the longest time. And
Mm.
sometimes I do feel like, ooh, I feel like I'm doing too much, or I feel like, okay, I have two orgs. Maybe I need something else. At a certain time, I was like, I'll probably keep my Austin FC job as a guest services. And then my best friend Cece was like, girl, you gotta, you can't do all these things. What about you?
Right. You got to have some time off, Edly.
Yeah. And I think learning to be outside, even reconnecting with nature, even
Mm-hmm.
park, I think learning to detach from your job. Your job is not who you are. And that's what I've learned last week at therapy, that therapy session I had. Your job is not your personality. And I think also learning, like, post, even on social media, post something that's not job related, who is not Texas related or Spurs related. I think, and also finding hobbies. Like I just started this sewing class and trying to, even baking, learning how, obviously I bake and, bring, baked goods to the press box, but bake for myself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So learning to, do stuff, learning to be selfish for myself is a big thing. And then knowing that there's people out there that care about you. I think for a long time I'm like, oh,
I
there's no,
love that. I
probably
do.
probably my mom and my parents or whatever that care. But you know, sometimes you have to go in a dark place where thinking like, if I'm gone today, think about who's gonna get affected. My best friend, some of my coworkers that I talk to a lot, because some jobs, we've seen it. Some jobs, once that person dies, it's like, okay, guys, here's an email. This person died. Let's keep going.
Mm. Okay. I feel you on that. I do. I want to know if there was a person that graduated, like a recent graduate or somebody that's been in the game. I'm going on year 6, close to 7 years in the game. Started kind of late because I'm in my 30s now. Um, Talk to me about what advice you would give that individual that wants to start a career in sport communications.
Well, my first thing I would say, it's never too late. It's never, it's never too late. You just gotta find Someone told me they graduated 2 years. We were in the same broadcasting org. They graduated 2 years before me. I think she graduated my sophomore year. She said, "Girl, I thought I was gonna always work at Walmart for a really long time. Someone just has to give you that yes.
Yep, absolutely.
It might take 50 no's before you get that 50
One year.
yes. And so it's, it might be discouraging, but you have to keep going and, hope and pray that you're gonna get that yes. So I would say, I mean, look what's in the city. You know, I think people, when it comes to Austin, people want to do the Texas Longhorns so bad. But you
Sure.
have all these high schools kids, and especially in Austin, and especially in Texas. And if you're not even from a big city like Austin, and you're from a little city like Killeen, like me, there are like 5 high schools that you can like literally walk in and start, rent a camera or rent, any
Go
like
to work is what you basically saying.
just try, go out there. You got to go out there. It doesn't matter how small the city is, or if you have one high school and they have probably one volleyball team, or maybe they're limited on many sports. I mean, you know, do it. I think that's what people are worried about. And my professor said this. People are worried about what are you. I think that what's the thing is students are worried about what's on the real, like what team you're covering, what's, the name brand. There's a lot of kids that went to the playoff, the Sugar Bowl playoff when Texas was there. I
Yep.
mean, the recruiter is probably, they're not gonna care if you saw Texas got, went to a comeback against Washington, but in the last second, I mean, Washington,
Well,
basically saved the day. They're not gonna care if you were in the atmosphere. They're gonna care, hey, is your stand up right? You know, is your if are you talking the right lingo, or are you, accurate of
right.
what you um I think that's the main thing people are like more concerned these days. Like, oh, I covered this little high school back in my hometown.
Okay.
See, like, let me see. Like, we don't really care, like, if it's a little high school. Did you put effort? Is there a story in there? There might be a story. The little schools, no one's talked about it. The little schools always have a story. There's always something with the little schools. And it's something with high schools also. There might be Special Olympics. There might be, somebody who has a unique story. It's all about the storytelling and how do you tell it. And then when it comes to, I would say, my industry, I would say if you want to get into it, thinking about the graduate route. I mean, go back to
Okay.
school and get into the athletic department, or be a communication coordinator, or PR assistant somewhere that's not even in sports. A lot of the corporate communications or even the PR people in the Spurs, or even in some of these big professional leagues, they started from a small company that's not even a sports team. It's the skills that you have. It's all
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, you're totally right about that, Edley. No question about that. I'm going back to get my master's in professional writing. I'm actually doing that as we speak. At being a journalist, I graduate May of 25 for that because I want to open more doors. I want to open more doors to possibly maybe being a sports information director in the future, maybe being a teacher in the future and teaching writing, and just open more doors like that. But we came to the portion of the podcast now where we're going to do the interactive game, this or that. So what that is, I'm going to throw two things at you, and you choose this or, excuse me, or that. Are you with me?
yeah.
All right. So this first one here, we've been vibing all conversation. This first one's pretty important. Popeyes or KFC?
Popeyes.
That's my girl. I know that's right. All right. We rocking with you. I'm rocking with you. Okay. Which chicken wing flavor would you choose? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Lemon pepper, actually.
Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Bone in.
And do you like your wings wet or dry?
Wet.
So you like to get a little messy, is what I like. What I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Ain't nothing wrong. Get a little messy now. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Here we go. These next four have to do with music concerts you rather attend. So, which concert would you rather go to? Brandy or Monica?
Brandy.
Okay, I like that. Which concert would you rather go to? Usher or Chris Brown?
Ooh, Usher.
Okay, okay. You took a little longer to answer that one, but that's okay. I like that. You said Usher. Which concert would you rather go to? Would you rather go see Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, okay. You decisive on that. All right, I like that. Which concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see J. Cole or Big Sean?
J. Cole.
Okay, okay. I like that. I like the decisiveness right there. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling.
Are you a good bowler?
I think so.
Okay, okay. Do you need the bumpers?
No.
Okay, well then we probably gonna have to test that theory out now. We're gonna have to test that theory out, Edly. I'm just saying, I'm throwing that out there. Okay, here we go. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Basketball or football?
Basketball.
Okay. Do you like desserts?
Yes.
Here we go. I'm gonna throw four categories out. You got to get rid of one of these. You'll never eat again. So here we go. Ice cream is the first one. Candy is the second one. So all kinds of candy. The third one is cake. All kinds of cake. The last one is cookies. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
Cake.
Oh no, Edley. Oh
Cake.
no.
Free.
Uh,
How are you only for my birthday eat cake?
I feel you on that. I can't get rid of my red velvet cake though. I would
Oh,
get rid of candy. I would get rid of candy. But that's just me. That's all right. You can redeem yourself with this one. Do you eat potato chips?
yes.
Here we go. Four brands. Once again, same kind of format. Okay. First brand is Ruffles. The next brand is Lay's. The third brand is Doritos. The last brand is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of that you'll never eat again?
Pringles.
Okay, I can't be mad with that one because I'm not getting rid of my Ruffles. My sour cream and cheddar chip is the best chip ever made.
Yeah.
So I can't get rid of that one. I like that. I like the fact you did Pringles on that one. Okay.
I feel like that was the weakest one out of the categories. Pringles.
I feel that. No, I feel that. Which artist would you rather see in concert? Would you rather see Davido or would you rather see Beanie Man?
Beanie Man.
Ooh, okay. All right. I love me some Beanie Man. I do. I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay. You did pretty good on this or that, Edley. Now I'd like to ask this question. Give me uh if you didn't go into sport communication and you wasn't working where you're working right now with the two different places that you're working at, what career path would you have chosen and why?
Mm, education. I think I would be like a principal or a teacher.
I can certainly see the principal role. I can see that. No question. See you being a leader amongst kids. Yeah, I can see that for sure. I would be a theater major. I love plays, love musicals. So definitely theater. I would definitely do that.
Hey, my one of my best friends from my hometown is a theater major. So, I
There
mean,
you go. There you go. It's a beautiful, beautiful profession. I just love sports a lot more. So that's all that was with me. Uh, we talked about a little bit about what you do as far as your job goes at the two different places. Let me guess. Are you going to be in the house when Georgia comes to Texas?
no, I'm gonna be at DKR. Gonna be at the
Wow.
stadium.
Wow. That is a huge game of the season, girl.
I can like that's literally I get paid to be there. Like that's the game of the season. You can't miss
Okay.
that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you're gonna be there, right?
I'm gonna be there.
Oh, okay. I thought you said no. You I'm sorry.
Ooh,
Okay,
I'll be
got you. So what about this? Because I was trying to look for tickets for Georgia, because obviously I didn't graduate from the University of Georgia. I graduated from Kennesaw State, which is in Georgia. But I am a huge Georgia Bulldog fan, and I've been that way for some years. Those tickets prices is ridiculous. They up there.
there.
I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to have to watch this one from home. However, I do plan on being in San Antonio for San Antonio and my Lakers in November. Do you think you'll be at that game?
I'll be at that one. That
Okay,
one. Yeah.
okay. Now, listen, if I pull up, I'm gonna have to say what's up to you. I know you're probably gonna be working, but we're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to say what's up to each other in person. Okay?
We're gonna find a way. We're gonna find a way. Maybe
I find
pregame
that.
and
I
post.
like that. I love it. I love that. This next question has to do with advice. Now, you gave some earlier some advice to an individual you would give, but what is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
Ooh, I would say that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, I
Wow,
have
I got you thinking. I like
that
that.
well, that had to because a lot of people have given me great advice. So that's it's turning my gears.
Okay, I'm with it. I am with it. I know some advice that I was given that was pretty good was well, it was simple. Be yourself.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Be yourself. No question. And that's hard to do, especially when you see people in a spot where you think you should be or could be, because you're envying people. Not to say that you're jealous, you just want their success. So you want to be able to emulate their success and you feel like you could be there, or you see friends and colleagues that's moving on up in markets and you're like, well, damn, I can move up in the market too, or I could do this too. But you just have to know that your time is not it's not your time just yet. And I
Hmm.
had to learn that.
I would say someone told me you're gonna crash if you're looking at someone else's lane and not yours.
Huh.
So I
Huh.
think it's like if you're looking at everyone else and what they're doing,
Right?
their path is, you're not looking at yours. And so you'll never know what your path is. So I guess there's so much I think learning from post grad. There's so many paths you can take and
Sure.
still end up at the same spot that you and your other friends want to be. Like eventually my path like eventually I want to be probably a sports information director if I'm in the collegiate level or
Yep.
a director of communications if I'm in the professional level. But what I've learned about each SID, they all took a different path. There's no
Absolutely. There's no
there-
one path.
there's no I've what I've learned, there is no book, there is no how-to guide to be at this position.
It really isn't.
Like
You're right.
there's going to be bumps, bruises along the way. Things might be happen. Your mind might change. Like I think I would say sophomore Edly would be so confused right now. Why is she wouldn't be too confused about still being in sports, but she'll be confused about okay, why we don't have a camera and a microphone in our hand. Why are we transcribing each play of the game at the stats room every Saturday? Or
Right.
why are we writing game recaps for the Spurs any game day that we're there? So I think she'll be a little confused, like, oh, because I think at our school and also how I was raised, there's only one path to take it to be a sports reporter. Eventually, maybe In 3 years, I can change my mind and be like, oh, I want to come back to the sports reporter again. Or
Sure.
be, you know? But I think people think when it comes to sports media, there's only one way to do it. With creatives also, when it comes to my friends who are in creatives who does like pictures for the players and you know, photography, graphics, they have like, oh, this is the only way to do it. A lot of people just told me coming out of college, like, you should just go be a producer at a station and, make the money and, whatever. But I'm like, that doesn't make me happy.
Right. That doesn't fulfill you, is what you're saying.
Doesn't fulfill me. And eventually I want to still stick to sports. I mean, I don't want to be stuck at 10 p.m. doing producing a show and our breaking news is some, crime scene. That
Right.
is, and doing it every
Right.
day. I'm like, ugh,
Right.
you know? I think people expecting you to, and it's also, I think, when it comes to post grad students, it's like you're supposed to have your big time girl job already. It takes time, especially, it doesn't matter if you're a reporter or you're PR and you're in communications. It takes time. My mom was like, well, she's like, oh, there's this new girl, Grace. She's like, you know, my mom's like, whoa, she already has, a full-time job. That position was open at Texas. Why you didn't apply? I'm like, Mom, Grace literally was in Arkansas for 2 years with her master's degree. She's
Right.
literally class of 2020, she was literally the pandemic kid in
Right.
college.
Right.
It takes time, and now she's 26 and now she got her big girl job. What I'm doing, she was doing it. It takes time. And sometimes you're gonna have another hustle to pay the rent. But it's gonna make your what you want to be, it's gonna happen. It has to make your dreams come true. You're probably gonna
Now,
do
question.
like I'm on my probably trying to apply to a daycare just to have a little money and everybody needs a little cash these days and everybody needs another flow of income these days. You don't know what,
Sure.
and so it's also, sometimes you're gonna have to take that second job, especially the economy we're in right now. Take the second job, do the job you like, even though it doesn't pay, or maybe it's freelance, or maybe it's part time, and just keep grinding. You
I
know,
love
grind. Um,
I love it. I do. Um, I I want to ask this question because I normally because we're getting to the end now. Uh, but I want to ask this question. I want to ask this, and that's is there anything else you would like to add about yourself before we conclude?
I would probably like to add, ooh, a little thing about me. I would say I try to be the most fashionable person in the room.
Okay.
Fashion person in the room, I would say. Me and this cool reporter named Corey Moses, black guy, great. I think he's one of our youngest reporters with a full-time job, who's reports at Texas. Great man. We go toe to toe when it comes to what we got on fit check and everything like that. I think,
Oh man, y'all have them fashion battles, is what you're saying.
yeah, we have some fashion battles. Every game press, like every time we get into the press box, I mean, he has the fit on, I have the fit on. Um, I think another thing about me is just I find creativity with my outfits. Try to
Okay.
do something, not everything's about work. Trying to find a little bit of me in my job. And that can be baking, that can be um putting an outfit together and maybe doing like a video. Here's where I got my shoes at, where I got my bracelet at, like just the goofy things. Think
Hmm.
what I would say is in this industry, always trying to find yourself in there.
Always.
Keep
Absolutely.
yourself. You're not a robot. You're not um a copycat. You're a human. Um, be yourself, I would say. Be yourself. I mean, you can be yourself in this industry because you can smell a fake person a mile away. Like it's not that hard to spot the fakes. So you don't want to be that one where it's like, I can tell you're faking it. I can tell like it's fake kindness, it's whatever.
Right.
Just
It ain't real. It's not genuine.
it's not genuine. So always be genuine. Always be,
Okay.
don't be a gatekeeper. I think that's the big thing. Don't be trying to gatekeep something that can help the next person. Because we're
Okay.
all trying to grow this industry. And I think that's the reason why we don't have a lot of people that look like us in this industry. Because everyone's just trying to gatekeep or everybody's just trying to be the token. I'm not trying to be the token. I'm trying to have more sisters and brothers in the room.
Absolutely. No question about that. And I love your mindset. There's no question that you're very passionate about not only inclusion and diversity, but just for African American Black people in general, to be able to have more faces to people like yourself in those rooms, it does matter because it gives hope to the younger generation that one day that they could do it too. Is no question that your beauty is definitely something that is obvious. No question about that. And I would just want to encourage you to continue to do great work, continue to be that pillar, continue to be an advocate for the people, continue to do what you love to do. Um, People are going to come, they're going to say things. There's going to be some naysayers, there's going to be some people that's very negative. As you know, being in this industry, we meet them all. But the one thing that we do is we do what we love to do, and we're going to continue to do it for the people that we love. And we also understand that um, you do what you have to do in order to do what you want to do, which is another advice that I got. It's like you do what you have to do what you want to do. So what we're doing now, as far as sports reporting, is long term, but the spot we may be in may not be. So we just have to cherish those moments to be able to do that. So Edly, I do appreciate you hopping on my podcast, telling me a little bit about your story, how you got into it, what you do, who you are, and getting to know you a little bit. I know you like to get messy with wings. I know you like to bowl a little bit. I know you like your R&B and your rap music, which is good too. I like it too. So, with that being said, you enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon and weekend, and we will definitely be in touch.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
No problem. You take care.
You too.
Mhm.